Let's look at a Mazda key and how to open it up, access the valet key, and access the battery, because it's not as intuitive as you might think. So just as a size comparison, there's a coin, there's a quarter, and it's a little bit large key. It's feels kind of light. It's not super dense or anything, but it seems like it's a little bit larger than what it could be, because there's a lot of empty space on the inside. And it's square. It's not as rounded as some other keys, but it doesn't have any buttons except for here on the edge. So when holding it, it's real easy to accidentally push the buttons. So first off, you can see it has this part right here. When you put the keychain on it, it has to be rather thin, otherwise it gets bound up in there, because you can see this is just a very small space. Okay, so there's a little latch right here. You see that little latch, and you can pull it this way, and when you do that, it releases the edge, just this one edge here on this right side. So you can slide it and release that, like so. So you can see as we pull this over, you can see it has this little release mechanism. So it's a pretty advanced key system here. And then this is your valet key or physical key. Since this is a proximity key, sometimes if the battery goes dead or the vehicle's battery goes dead, you may need this. But this is mostly for, you can lock the trunk if there's a valet driving your vehicle and take this with you. That's another use for it. Okay, so we have this side off. And we will need this tool to go a little bit further. But before we do that, you see right here in this corner, so you can see the orientation. This part is on the bottom where the key loop goes, keychain loop, and then you can see this little tiny, it blends right in right here. So we want to take this tool and push right in here. Make sure you can see that, and you just push in, and it's real easy at this point to push the button, so it's really hard to do this without pushing the button. So you have to do this like on the edge, I guess, like this, and then just kind of push it in. And then all that does is pop up this one corner. So now that this corner is popped up, we need to put this flat tool in here and try to pry it up more. Just keep going around. Okay, so you see now it popped the rest of the way. So now that side's off. And now the battery is under this right here. That's where the battery is. And to get to that, you have to have a tool to pry up on this. So you kind of have to have some leverage. So I put this in there like a regular flat screwdriver and push down, and then it pops up. Now if you don't have enough leverage, let's say it's too flat or whatever, you can put the physical key or a coin or something under here to try to get better leverage, because it does require a decent amount of leverage. And then that pops up, and this actually has like a weather seal type rubber seal around it to keep the dirt and debris or maybe even some rain from getting in to the electronic compartment. And then that's where you can change your battery, and it requires a CR2032 3-volt button battery. And then of course you reverse the procedure to put it back together. Now putting this back on, let's say you just throw this off to the side. When you go to put it back on, you can see the long side is the hook side that hooks in, and then the short side is the snap side. You want to snap that in, and then the one that goes back on now over the battery has this little post. That's the one that we push through, and then this kind of lays there, and then you just kind of squeeze it and snap it in place. Make sure it's all four corners are snapped in place. And now Remember the orientation with this side down. And then we can look at here and make sure that we have, well, let's go ahead and put our battery back in, our physical battery, our actual valet key or whatever you want to, the valet key, I said battery, but anyways. Okay, so this side is, you see the arrow, I don't know if you can see that, there's an arrow on one side, and then you can see the battery in there as well. Arrow towards the latch. Hopefully you can see that there's an arrow. So we're gonna hook this side like so. Just kind of put it down like that. You can see a little bit of offset, and then slide it this way. And then make sure you go left to right to make sure it's engaged. And then now the key should be solid and back together. And ready to go.